This is video 3. Um, there's not really like a specific topic that I'd like to talk about or speak about today. Um, it's been a weird day. It's in between. One of those days where it's like it's not it's not exceptionally bad, but it's not exceptionally good. It's in the middle. Um, but as I do these videos, it's allowing me to really reflect. Um, and I appreciate the reflection aspect. I've always reflected, but just not in this format. It almost feels like a therapy session where you just pour out whatever is on your mind or your heart at that time, and you know, there's no judgment. Kind of segueing off of that judgment. That's one thing that I need to really work on. Is judgment. I really do. I think I judge others partly because I feel like I'm judged, but I think I'm judged because I judge others. Gary Vee had said a quote. I think he said, when you stop caring about, when you stop judging people, that's when you stop caring about the judgments that other people pass on you. So yeah, it's weird because it's like I try not to be a judgmental person, and I'm all about harmony, and I think everyone is all about peace and love and harmony. I think it depends on the circumstances, but I don't know if that's a negative thing. Like, should I? Is it bad that my judgment or lack thereof of another individual is based on the circumstances around the situation? It's contextual. I don't know if that's like necessarily a good thing. For example, like the other day, Aileen and myself she brought up a child molester. She does, well, you guys know what she does. But yeah, she brought up, molesters. We're talking about her job, and it's like, I don't know if I could ever forgive someone that would do such a thing, And then I understand it's complex. It's very complex because obviously they weren't born that way. Obviously, they must have gone through some form of trauma to want to do such a barbaric action. But on the flip side, just because you've experienced things in the past doesn't give you the right or the pass to enact those same sufferings onto another person. The way I look at it, in essence, if someone committed murder or stole something, or whether it's blue collar crime, white collar crime, gang related, that's understandable, right, to an extent, depending on the situation. Unless it's like mass murder, right? But if it's like, it's a bar fight, or you know, this guy fucked my wife, so I fucking killed him, or I was really angry. Like, that's, to me, that's like understandable, but I don't think molesting a child, because 9 times out of 10, those individuals molesting the child, it's not their first time. They've done it multiple times. And in order to do, something that malicious, it just takes a truly, I don't want to say evil, right? Because that's passing judgment. It takes a colossal amount of deviation to do something that disturbing. Mentally, huge. It's a deviant. It's completely. But it's like with other crimes, I can try and put myself in those shoes, and and try and forgive, and try and relate. I think that's very helpful. I think one of my goals, or one of my things, one of my crosses I need to carry in this life is forgiveness of others. But I guess that also means forgiveness of self. Have I forgiven myself? What have I done to not forgive myself? Do I forgive myself? But I digress. But back to the with the child molesters, that's tough for me, man, because it's like you're robbing that child of their future. That you're not just it's a horrendous crime. That's gonna carry with them forever, and that's gonna affect everyone they meet, and that's gonna affect their wife and their children and their relationship with their parents and their friends. It's like you're really, I think it's kind of, in a way, worse than murder, because with murder, when you murder someone, the family is aware. In some cases, I know they don't know who's done it, but they're aware the person is deceased, and they have their time to grieve, and they can move on. But when someone is molested, you take that innocence away from them. They can never get that back. Plus, they're alive, and that affects the family and the individual. On a fundamental level. Sometimes it's buried deep, and they can't even get to it because it's repressed. It's like I'd rather have my troubles in my face so I can deal with them rather than have them hidden. Or, it takes years and years and years and years of work to get over that. It's just, I don't know, it's hard. But then at the end of the day, it's like, I put it like, I try to frame it like this. If an individual was to molest my child, would I forgive them? No. I know it sucks to say that, because I'm trying to be a better person, be the best version of myself, and incorporate, and hopefully one day self-actualize, if I'm blessed enough to live, if I'm blessed enough to live to, that point in my life where I can self-actualize. I don't know if it's even necessarily, fixed to a certain time frame, or age. Maybe, I feel like people can some people self-actualize in their 20s. Some people can do it in their 30s, 40s, 50s. But most people, it's in their 40s, 50s, 60s sometimes. There's some 40, 50-year-olds that still act like they're 21. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I feel like judgment goes hand in hand with forgiveness. So tough, man. It's like, could I forgive someone that murdered a child? I don't know. You know, on the outside, sometimes I portray this like tough bravado, and I think a lot of people do. You know, we try to be strong and solid, and that's essential to survive in this world. It's essential. The world is truly a cold, hard place at times, but it's also extremely beautiful and positive and filled with love. It's both, but that's neither here nor there. Sometimes I do, you know, I put on that mask like everyone else does, but the reality is, you know, when I hurt deep, very deep. So I don't know if I'd be able to. I think that's one of my greatest fears. You know, I don't know, that and not being a good enough father. You know, I just don't know if I could forgive someone that would, because you have to understand, like, a child is the purest human form. They're not tainted by society nor ideologies or anything of that nature. You know, there's a quote: the currency for adults is money. Money and commodities, you know, materialistic things. The currency for children is time and love, because that's all they really want. So I don't know. I feel like I'm at an impasse, fork in the road, as far as that concept of forgiveness. That's tough. It's tough. I don't know. I don't think I would be able to forgive someone to do that. A child is like the future potentiality of all that's good and potentially bad, but there's that potential, you know, in every child. I think part of the reason why our parents tell us we can do anything we want to do and be anything we want to be is because they see that potential in their children. They see that, you know, given the right conditions and circumstances, you know, we could really do some magnificent things. So to rob someone of that, I think that's the greatest crime. You know, and that's speaking from this perspective, right, of Jala, the being on the earth that has existed for 25 years, 25 cycles around the sun. Now, if I look at the situation of forgiveness and judgment from a higher perspective, one of, you know, the cosmic energy that ultimately is, you know, one and cohesive with the universe and everything and everyone in it, then it's different, you know. Then of course I would forgive, because then I would understand, you know, I would understand more. You know, there's actually a Buddhist saying is to know all is to forgive all. And I think that's rather profound. So, but yeah, I'm working on it. I'm constantly, every day, working on myself. And I think that's the key, to always work on yourself. So always work on yourself. I think you have to trick yourself. Not trick yourself, but train yourself to be addicted to entropy. Train yourself to be addicted to the grind, the struggle of being better and better every day. Because I'm realizing, from my internet mentors, from the people that I watch, the Will Smiths, the Bill Gates, these successful people that I follow and just, study. Being the best version of yourself is never a destination. You never arrive there. It's just it's a constant process. And that means even if one day you wake up and you feel like, yeah, I'm here, and you decide, I could take a break today, instantly you regress because you're not taking another step forward. So I think our society, they always try and, embed in us that one day, we'll get there and it'll be it. You're always chasing it, that thing. But you'll never, the truth is you'll never get it. The things that, at least the things that really matter. I mean, physically, sure, you can get a big house and, nice car and this and that, but you won't feel it. That feeling of, yes, I'm here, I've done it, I'm accomplished. It may last for a few seconds when you accomplish a goal or, close a deal or achieve that physique of, just like, someone that's always wanted a six pack. You can, diet all year or a couple years, work out for a couple years and get it. But once you get it, you have to maintain it. You have to keep working out every single day. You can't just stop, or else you'll start losing definition. You'll start gaining, body fat. It might be a 0.1% here, but slowly you'll go back to you'll stagnate. So it's just, I've learned I'm in the process of conditioning my mind to being addicted to the process of success. And I think that's going to carry me out. That's going to do me well throughout my life. I think that's the one skill that once developed will be the cornerstone of my being. I really do. And to do that, it takes discipline. And discipline is hard because you don't get discipline from anyone. You don't get discipline from your parents. You don't get discipline from a book. You can see discipline and you can read about it, but you have to pull it from within. I think that's why a lot of people don't succeed. They don't have the discipline to control themselves. And I have fucking issues with discipline all the time, especially with food. I'm an emotional fucking eater. When my emotions are just up and down, it's like I eat to compensate and to alleviate the emotions. And that's something I'm working on. But, a good trick would be, sometimes if you can't tackle it head on, go to the side. Example, like I said, my main lack of discipline is in the kitchen and food and my emotions. And, obviously there's much more, but that's one thing that I'm focused on right now that I know that once it's resolved, it'll have a compounding positive effect. So I've been jogging every single day, anywhere from, it started off like a mile every day for 30 days. Now I'm doing about 2.5, 3 miles, sometimes more. So I think I've been doing it for, let me see, it's probably 70 or so days now, every single day. And my madness behind it is my goal is to do it for 365 days straight, right? That's what I'm telling myself. But obviously, I'm gonna keep doing it after, because at a certain point, you build this momentum, right? And the momentum after, let's say, 30, 40 days, the momentum pushes you. Like, there's days where you just don't want to do it, but you've built so much momentum that, nature and your body, your biology just pushes you, and it makes it almost effortless, almost. But there's always a certain degree of effort that needs to be put out, always. So yeah, so my plan is to do that for 365 days, and that is what I call a brick. So I'll lay that one brick of self-discipline as perfectly as I can. And once I have that brick laid, then I can add. Now I know, okay, I did it for 365 days, right? And I've been disciplined in other areas. Like I work out. I've been working out for years. Whether it's three. I don't think I've gone longer than a month without working out. At least once or twice a week. That's very rare. I always have to. My body requires some form. We all do require some form of physical activity. So I've been, kind of disciplined in that aspect. But now it's like I'm disciplined with intent daily. First thing. It's the first thing I do every day. I get out of bed, drink some tea, use the bathroom, and then I do it. No excuses. Rain, doesn't fucking matter. Do it. Get it done. And that's gonna allow me to, one, it'll put more faith in myself, right? Knowing that I can do it. Because I know I can do it, but, thinking you can do something and knowing that you can do something are completely different things. So it's gonna, I just envision the end result, how I'm gonna feel January 1st, 2021. It's gonna be, man, it's gonna probably be the best feeling of my life thus far. So I'm gonna build that discipline through, jogging every day, and I'm working out 5 or 6 days a week, sometimes 7. But again, my diet. So once I build that consistency, that discipline that I've proven to myself that I can, pick something, stick to it, and follow it through every single day, regardless of what I'm going through, regardless of what's going on where I'm at. And that'll help me, I'll incorporate that with my diet. I can incorporate that with business. I can incorporate that, more importantly, emotionally and psychologically, and that's important. My goal is to create wholeness. Just balance. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's just wholeness. I need to be whole. I have a longing to be whole. I think that's why sometimes I get, Aileen gets mad at me sometimes because I'll be interested in this, and then I'll be interested in that, then I'll be interested in this. But it's like I'm trying to take what's essential in every little thing to create that whole. And I think that's something that's innate in our soul, is to become whole, to reunite, once again. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it for today. So I said I'd be doing a quote every day. So this isn't really a quote, but it's kind of like a quote, but it's more of a concept or philosophy. So I was watching this video of Bruce Lee, and he was being interviewed, and the interviewer asked him, "What's the key? What's the key to your 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 calmness, your skill set, your what you do in the ring? What's the key?" And Bruce Lee said that it's a balance. It's a balance between your natural instincts, that raw, untapped, just primordial energy, that force, that instinct, that gut feeling, and discipline and control. And he goes on to say, like, too much instinct and too much of that fire makes you just wild and crazy. But too much of that control and that logic makes you like a machine. But it's when there's a harmonious combination of both, that's when you achieve the balance. That's when you achieve greatness, and that's when you can be the best that you can be. So with that,